Wow, everyone. 10,000 subscribers. That is absolutely incredible. We broke it this week. It took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but still, 10K is insane. So thank you ever so much for that. And I finally made it. I'm on a Yammie Noob video. Come check it out. So this video I was checking out earlier on today, and I noticed that we've got a little clip of one of our videos in it. Check this out. So it's just after this this little bit here, he's talking about how, you know, the whole, well, says in this little chapter here, the internet fear factor, how people get so put off by bikes simply because they look at something on TikTok or on YouTube of people crashing and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to do that anymore. And it turns out that, here we go. There we are. Right there. That's one of our videos. That is absolutely insane. But anyway, so today I kind of wanted to discuss a little bit about this video, and I kind of wanted to thank Yammie NOOBs for this, because this is something that I've actually been saying for quite a long time now. Unfortunately, this isn't in just the United States, and the fact that this video has come out specifically about the United States is even more worrisome for me than ever before, because you see it here in the UK and Europe all the time, where people's attitudes towards riding bikes is going down and down. Everyone's positivity, or the general positivity around motorcycles, has been going down every year. And he makes a load of good points here, and I hope that this resonates with a lot of people, because honestly, the thing that scares me the most is, after all the work that we've done together, building this community, spreading the good word about motorcycles and how amazing they are and what they can do for you and how they can help you throughout life, it might end up all going to waste simply because no one's going to be riding anymore. And I'm really curious how many of you are, well, what age groups you're in. I think we can actually have a look here on the dashboard of our analytics. Let's see. Well, this is an interesting metric right here. How many of you have got the notification bells turned on? 11, 12%, 7%. Hit the notification bell, because honestly, it really helps us out, and you get notified whenever we release like really cool videos. So yeah, let's see if we can grow that a little bit more. But okay, so here are some of the more interesting analytics here. So okay, so of course, mostly male. That's a shame. I really want more female viewers. Hopefully I can get the wifey on that to help me. But down here, so we've got 18 to 24-year-old, 22.9%, so 23%. 25 to 34 years old, so that's the same group that I'm in, 25%. 35 to 44 years, 17%. 45 to 54 years, 16%. 55 to 64 years, 12%. You know, that is crazy. How this is the older age groups. The vast majority of people that watch our content are in this older age group, which is just insane. This should be like 50% of the viewership should be in this 18 to 24 years, because that's how we get new riders involved in the hobby. So yeah, interesting, but yeah, that's kind of confirmed my suspicions all along, how we're getting older. The generation of motorcyclists are getting older. I think my generation is probably the last that had the most interest in bikes, and now it's plummeting significantly. And I mean, Yammie NOOBs makes a lot of really interesting points, and I think for the most part I agree with it. But what I want to do a little bit more of in today's video is just discuss the positive side of motorcycles and riding bikes, because I think that falls down by the wayside, as everything is so negative around motorcycles, or it has been negative for a long time. I mean, I've seen it myself. I'm a rider, and none of this stuff puts me off riding bikes, but the amount of content, the amount of news articles, the amount of negative stuff that I see around bikes and motorcycle culture is huge. And the amount of positive stuff around bikes is non-existent. It's almost like, you know, when you put in the titles of videos, you know, you've got to put in catchy words, key phrases that people will be attracted to. You know, like scam, like brutal, like fail, like crash, you know, all these words that are negatively associated with a particular piece of content, that is what people click on the most. And unfortunately, that's just the way how these algorithms work on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever the platform is that you're watching this content on. It's all around that negative stuff. And unfortunately, the only way you're able to see the positive stuff is if you subscribe to channels like ours, channels like Yammie Noob, Revzilla. There's loads. There's loads of really awesome motorcycle channels that really push the positive side of riding. And honestly, there's so much positivity around riding if you're just willing to give it a go. No, it's not going to be for everyone, but at the same time, there are so many people that aren't even willing to give it a go, and it's really sad to see how so many people of these later generations are so risk averse. It's like everyone's gone soft. You know what I mean? No one wants to put themselves out there anymore. No one wants to push the boat out a bit, kind of like everyone wants to be in their little bubble, their safe little bubble, and not explore what's outside of that bubble. And I know that that's difficult to find, or more difficult to find for some people than others, but it seems to be this growing group of people that aren't willing to broaden their horizons. I've seen it firsthand, where unfortunately that is the case. It seems to be the case for a lot of people. But honestly, it's difficult to see as well. But if you're one of those people that says no a lot to doing things, you say no all the time, then you're probably one of those people that falls into this category of, I'm not that adventurous, I'm risk averse, I don't want to get involved in anything that, I don't know, that TikTok or YouTube or Instagram has said that it's dangerous or I shouldn't do it or what have you. As I've always said on this channel, motorcycles are only as dangerous as you make them. All right. Yeah. Okay. You're always going to have freak things that happen, but that can happen when you're walking, riding a bicycle. That can happen when you're on the bus or on the train, right? Next time you're having a look at one of these, I don't know, these crash reels or something like that, where people are on bikes and they're crashing, look at how many of them are caused by the rider, directly caused by the rider. The vast majority of them are, over 50% at least, are caused by the rider. And then have a look at the ones that, on the face of it, aren't caused by the rider. They're caused by some other external factor. Well, think to yourself, what could the rider have done to protect themselves against that eventuality, that crash, that accident, whatever you want to call it? What could they have done prior to that to avoid what was going on? That's the skill of a motorcyclist. A good motorcyclist is someone who's able to anticipate and kind of put themselves in a position to react to these things as quickly as possible. And then instead of them actually turning into crashes, they end up becoming more like close calls, or maybe not even close to a close call, so to speak. But it's, honestly, just the thing is, when you start saying yes more to things, the thing I've realized is everyone is risk averse, but you start understanding that the more you say yes to doing things, to putting yourself out there, to taking some risks, actually, the more satisfaction you get out of a life in general. Seriously, it's a total life changer for so many people, how they do something, that seems quite simple, like riding a bike, riding a motorcycle. But the world that opens up to them is huge, absolutely massive, especially when you start going beyond riding 125cc bikes and you start riding things that are a bit bigger. It really does change your perspective on everything. And the thing is, motorcycles are one of those things where you see the dangerous side of motorcycles all the time, everywhere you look. But that is not, that's 99% of cases aren't like that. 99% of riding experiences are not like that. I promise you. All right? I've been riding for 17 years now, nearly 18 years. It's never been a problem for me. And that's whilst I was young as well, the stupid stage of most young people's lives and things like that. Yeah, okay, you will make mistakes just like everybody else, but as long as you're a little bit sensible, then those mistakes aren't going to be fatal. In fact, those mistakes are nothing. They're learning experiences, nothing more. And, as long as you dust yourself off, you get back up, you get back on your bike, and you keep going, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. Don't get shaken up or worried about something that hasn't happened to you yet. You know what I mean? It's like everyone automatically assumes that as soon as they get on a motorcycle that, oh, they're going to die. No, that's not the case whatsoever. And this is just the culture that we live in. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of videos about, well, we have one video about why so many people hate us. You should definitely go and check that one out, because it really does highlight the issues with the motorcycling image these days. And to be fair, I mean, it's been like that for a long time now, I suppose. But also, even in last week's video, that unfortunately didn't perform that well, where we did Am I the A-hole kind of Reddit post, all three of them, and I picked them at random, but all three of them all pointed out that the person who is involved negatively in the Am I the A-hole posts are people that don't like motorcycles, that hate motorcycles, for whatever reason, despite the fact that they probably have no idea what bikes actually are, or they've had no experience on a bike either. Again, it's people's fears manifesting into something that doesn't exist, that's not real. It's people making this stuff up in their minds because the idea, how dangerous the idea is of riding a motorcycle, is actually more dangerous than the experience really is in reality. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, it was one of those points that I'd never thought of before. The way how so many people they have the access to this content, but it's all negative content. So of course, naturally, you're going to have this negative spiral, and it keeps on growing and growing and growing, going down further and further. And you've got to be one of those people that is naturally adventurous, naturally who's willing to take some risks throughout their lives, if it means that they're able to get more satisfaction out of their lives. Even if it's something like hiking, something crazy, or skydiving, something that might sound absolutely crazy, actually isn't. When you really think about it logically, these things aren't crazy. But then things like taking drugs, drinking alcohol, smoking, things like that are things that people do every single day, and yet for some reason we're really struggling to shake that mentality that, oh, it's an issue that will be an issue further down the line. It's not an issue right now. But everyone seems to think that motorcycles are an issue right now, but they're not. But in fact, 99% of people have a full riding career without any problems whatsoever, whereas 99% of smokers will die early, will die before they're 60, before they're 70, before they're 65, whatever the case might be. People are alcoholics, people who abuse drugs, where even though those numbers are there and they are relevant, people have a totally different attitude towards people smoking. People accept people smoking and people drinking and people taking drugs more so than they do with people riding bikes. I don't know why. It's crazy, but unfortunately that is the way it is. And at this point, I'm not sure what we can do about it, apart from continue with this positivity. All right? Being honest about what the experience is like. I've never lied to you guys about anything. And just, I try to be as honest and in my critique of everything, whatever we do on this channel, I try to be as honest as possible, even when it comes to like the mechanical side of things, servicing on your bike, whatever it might be. I try to be as honest as possible so you guys get an accurate reflection of what that experience is like, whether if it's on a particular bike, whether if it is riding culture, whether if it's riding safety, the enjoyment, whatever it might be. I don't try to go over the top with the positive aspects of riding bikes. The way how I describe motorcycle positivity is literally the way how I feel every single day I get out and ride, honestly. And we've spoken about mental health, the mental health benefits of riding bikes as well in the past. And it's interesting, I had a look through some of those comments on that Yammie Noob video. I definitely recommend that you guys check it out, because I think it's really interesting, and it really does spread that positive message that I think a lot of people need to hear. But how people are saying how motorcycles save their lives. Crazy things like that. And I'm not going to lie, for me, I've taken a lot of hits to my mental strength over the last couple of years with my martial arts gym, as some of you are aware of, with work, with even the channel, you know. Things have been difficult over the last couple of years, and even I've had issues within my own family as well that I'm still cut up about. And I can honestly say, if I wasn't doing my martial arts, or if I wasn't riding bikes, I have no idea how I would be able to cope with all those emotions, with all of that stress, all that anxiety that I've struggled with over the last couple of years. Motorcycles, seriously, are a game changer. They can have such a positive impact on everyday life. You have no idea. You have a difficult day at work. A motorcycle can just release all of that anger. You know, even if it's a spirited ride that you decide to do after work, it helps. And every little helps. I think that's the... what would be an interesting study would be to find out how many people that ride motorcycles suffer with mental illness. You know what I mean? Compared to the average. You know, the average population of the UK, the United States, wherever... what the average is of people that suffer with anxiety, stress, depression, and how many people within the motorcycling community have similar ailments or that suffer from mental health problems. I bet you it would be much lower for the motorcyclists. Seriously, I'm not joking here. That is the impact that bikes have on people's lives. It's not an exaggeration, as much as it may sound a bit far-fetched. You know, it's just this machine with two wheels, you know, it goes fast. It's more than that. And unfortunately, as many words as I try to find to describe that positive experience, it doesn't contend with actually doing it for yourselves. And there is a learning curve. There is a long learning curve, especially here in the UK as well. There's lots of hoops you've got to jump through. That might be changing soon in the near future. We'll have to wait and see. But it's worth it. Seriously worth it. But yeah, man. Yeah. It's scary. The fact that this is happening in the United States, because I thought that motorcycle culture, motorcycle sales and everything would have been fine in the United States. And the issue was more localized to the UK and Europe because we're a bunch of softies here in the UK, whereas in the United States people are a bit more adventurous. But apparently the same is happening in the United States as it is happening here, which is really scary because yeah, we're gonna struggle. I think not in the near future, but in the distant future, we may be struggling. And the fact that we've got 45, 50, 60-year-olds that make up a third of our viewer base. When those people stop riding, when those people pass away, what are we going to be left with? You know, a smaller number of people. And Yammie Noob said that the average age of a rider in the United States is 50 years old. That's mad. I'm 32 years old. 50 years old is the average rider. That is insane. And I bet you it's a similar number here in the UK as well. Between 40 and 50 years old. Gotta be. Yeah. Absolutely fascinating and a worry, but at the same time, there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot of these channels coming up now through the ranks, coming up out of the woodwork. A lot of this positive energy around motorcycles coming from these channels, and we need more of it. But the more of it we have, well, the more people that we can get involved in the motorcycling hobby. If I've inspired even just one of you out of 10,000 people, if I've inspired just one of you to ride a motorcycle, to get involved in the hobby, I've done my job. Hopefully it's more than that. Hopefully it's hundreds, maybe thousands of people one day, maybe. But that's what I want. That's the whole idea behind this channel, is to get people riding bikes. The whole idea of, or the whole purpose of this channel is to share my experiences on bikes, because they're amazing. Genuinely amazing experiences that I've had on I've never had a negative experience on a motorcycle. I mean, apart from the times when I've dropped my bike. So yeah, okay, that's not a very nice feeling, because it's, you know, it's your pride and joy. You've just dropped it on the floor. But at the same time, when you take those things out, honestly, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the thing is, it never gets old. Once you start riding bikes, there's always some new delight. There's always something new that you can do, that you can try, that you can discover on a motorcycle. And you know, this is a comparison that I don't think many people understand that drive cars, but you do a spirited drive in a car on some really nice roads on a lovely day, and you think, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Now think to yourself, how much better would that have been on a motorcycle? Believe me, the experience isn't comparable. I enjoy driving my car, of course I do. I like my car. But at the same time, it's not on par with my bikes. The whole reason why I do 10,000 miles a year on my bikes, and I do 2,500, maybe 3,000 miles a year in my car, well, that just says everything you need to know. And I work from home as well most of the time. So, you know, so all the riding that I do is for my own personal pleasure, and of course for the channel. But it's, I still continue doing it, you know. But yeah. Anyway, everyone. I mean, kept you here, I think, for long enough. But spread the positive word, all right? Share this video. Share all of our videos with your friends, with people who are skeptical of bikes, bike skeptics, and see if you can convince them to make the plunge, to commit to doing something that is outside their comfort zone. They will thank you for it. But it's difficult, man, because unfortunately people aren't just going to take your word for it. People aren't going to take my word for it. And it doesn't matter how many videos, how many this, that, and the other you show of people having really positive experiences and amazing riding careers. Unfortunately, there are going to be a majority of people that aren't interested for their own personal reasons, whatever the case might be. But you never know. You might convince people that they're not as dangerous or as crazy as people think they are. The videos of my wife riding my ZX9R and my ZZR 1400 is testament to that. That it's not, riding bikes isn't crazy. Riding huge bikes that have 200 horsepower that go 200 mile an hour top speed, they're not crazy. You can still ride them sensibly. You can still enjoy them cruising. You can still enjoy them on everyday roads. And if you do want to pull that throttle back a little bit, they can do that too. But it's honestly not crazy. It's not a crazy idea. It might sound crazy. It's not, honestly. But again, it's that same old thing, isn't it? As soon as you mention to someone, oh, I'm thinking about getting a motorcycle, I'm thinking of starting to ride bikes. And they're like, oh, but isn't that dangerous? So is walking somewhere. So is playing rugby. So is playing football. So is getting on a passenger jet, on a ferry. So is driving a car. It's all dangerous, but it's all relative, you know. Riding a motorcycle, for my experience, isn't any more dangerous than anything else I've ever done in my life. You know, I probably had more injuries doing combat sports than I have riding my bikes. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know, for some reason people's idea of motorcycles are just illogical. But, well, that's probably the culture that we're living in at the moment. And because there's so much of this negative information out there available for anyone to see, and anyone who might have had an interest in bikes gets put off immediately, and as soon as they see someone hitting the dirt on their bikes, it's like, But then again, you see loads of things of people crashing their cars, and it doesn't necessarily put people off driving cars. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, everyone, thank you ever so much for watching this video. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what you think down in the comment section below, how motorcycles have influenced your lives, and what positive impact bikes have had for you. And as much as this is a community for me personally, I don't have many friends that ride. In fact, I have no friends that ride. I used to have a few, but no, not really many anymore. And I really appreciate that some of you have reached out and said, look, yeah, come out for a ride with me sometime. And we will make that happen, because it's important. Motorcycling is a community thing, and I want to be more active in the community. Doing this through a screen is good, but actually being out there on the bikes with you lot is even better for me. So hopefully in the near future we can make that happen. We can book some days and we can do that, and I'll let everyone know when we actually organize a group ride of some kind. I'm not sure where it's going to be or how it's going to what the route's going to be or anything. I have no idea, but we'll try and organize something in the near future, and we'll make that happen. But thank you ever so much to all 10k of you. You guys are awesome, crazy, wonderful people. And thank you to all of you who leave likes and comments. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. Seriously, it's the fact that we get so much genuine interaction as well. Even people who leave dislikes, people who leave negative comments, I still appreciate you as well, because it's still engagement. And even though some of the things that people say might seem illogical or might seem harsh or might seem whatever, this, that, and the other, you know, whatever, that's the nature of social media, and it is what it is. But I appreciate your feedback and your input nonetheless, all right? And keep doing it as well, all right? If I make any mistakes, as I'm sure I do all the time, I'm sure you guys will let me know about it in the comments. But just know that I appreciate it, and that you guys give me a lot of inspiration for a lot of the content that we do. You guys are the inspiration behind it. And so, yeah, just can't thank you enough. But anyway, everyone, here's the 10k. We've got an interesting video coming out on Monday, so hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. It's on the ZX9R, and we're going to do something really crazy. It's like seriously crazy. It might kill the bike, but I'll see you there. Thank you again. Take care. Ride safe. We'll catch you all in the next video, everyone. Have a good weekend.